Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're hopping into the 9-star event, the Brawl vs Kaido, sort of like this Blitz Battle event, the ranking point event that just dropped on OPTC Global. And in this video, we are taking on Kaido. Now, I have just noticed in the obtainable items, you have a low chance of getting Rumble Scrolls, and they're like good Rumble Scrolls too. So like, I feel like I'm probably going to farm this pretty hard just to see if I can pick up some Rumble Scrolls. But in today's video, I do have 5 teams for you guys. So the last team in the video you guys will see is the big Quailen team that you see on the screen right here. Now, if you guys have King, obviously just replace this Nami and Shinobu with King. That way you get more points, and it's just easier with the special one and the cooldown reduction as well. But for me, I'm missing King, unfortunately. So this particular team consists of BigMom as our leader, and then we have the Sweet Generals as the support. Now, the reason I have Sweet Generals is they can remove 2 turns of Special Bind. That way I can just easily stall out the 2 turns of Special Bind on the Jack stage if we have the Jack interrupt on stage 3. On stage 4. On stage 4, you can either get Jack, King, or Queen, and they all do different things, but you guys will see that in the run. Next, we have Nami and Shinobu. Nami and Shinobu are boosted. They do Bind and Despair removal, which is very, very good for the Jack stage if you can remove the Special Bind. But they are a free-to-play unit. I would slap them on the team anywhere you can, as well as using this free-to-play Otama. Now, this free-to-play Otama you get after doing 5 runs. I actually recorded my runs before I got this Otama, so I'll actually talk about where you can slot her in to make life a little bit easier. What does she do as a support? She changes characters slot and adjacent slots to recovery. That's actually pretty good for Luffy, Ace, and Lin. I mean, that's pretty good. I'll cop that. I'll actually cop that hard. Next, we've got Queen. Queen's great because she can remove the defense up and damage reduction by 5 turns and sets the chain multiplier for 3 turns, which works very, very well in the final stage. And then Jack is also on this team as well to remove bind and attack down. Attack down is the big one. He can actually remove bind as well. Actually, I just realized that. So you can actually use him on the Jack stage as well, which is actually pretty handy. So that Nami Shinobu honestly is just replaceable with King if you have King. And that way you can just bring all the rare recruits with the new Otama, and it works very, very well. BigMom's our captain. She's a 5 times captain to Psi, Strength, and Int. 2.25 times attack booster, and then 2.5 as a carryover effect, which is great because on the final stage you can't use an orb buff. So that's the final team. The big Quailen team. So if you have this team, if you do have King, you can get even more points. I do have the Hatchan support, but it's not essential as you do have Otama to give you recovery orbs. The first team in the video you'll see, though, is this one here. So we are using Kaido with a friend, BigMom versus Kaido. Kaido, actually, in particular, the verse Kaido. This team actually worked fairly well. Unfortunately, though, we don't have any way of getting points besides the actual Kaido themselves. So if you guys are missing everyone in particular, I wouldn't really recommend running this team, but it does it very, very well and does it very, very easily. So Kaido is our captain. End of turn damage is great. We have Hody on this particular team to remove bind and special bind, which is 2 of the things that you can get from Jack in particular. Then we've got Page 1. Page 1 can roll our specials back for our dex and our strength units, and he can also remove attack down, which is great if you get the Queen interrupt. We have Dofi on this team. Dofi can remove defense up and threshold by 2 turns. And with the Bellamy support, we can actually remove 6 turns, which is absolutely amazing. Finally, for our attack booster, we have Sobermask. Sobermask also gives us a full board of T&D orbs. So a 2.5 times attack boost as well as a full board of orbs, which is great because of the carryover effect that we do get from our verse Kaido. So this team works very, very well, but as I mentioned, you do lose a lot of points as you only have verse Kaido to rely on for your point gain. The next team in the video actually was this particular team here, which is a V4 Law, Halloween Law. Now, this Law is just, he's so much fun to use. And anytime that I can run him, I always will find a way to run him. If you are missing this Kuzan down the bottom, the limited rare recruit one, you can replace him with the new Otama that came out because she does Threshold. And then I would just find a way to add something like a defense up removal by maybe taking off this Croc, as this Croc really isn't needed, as you can actually just rely on Law to just like blow through the defensive effects or the attack down if you get Queen. As Queen's going to roll your specials back, you can remove the attack down. You don't have to remove the attack down. You can easily just like slot Otama in there. And if you come up against Jack and you get the bind and the special bind, you can use Corazon to remove the bind and then just let Law's end of turn damage, just blitz his way through the HP pool. So this team works very, very well. As I mentioned, chuck Otama on here if you've got her. Essential things you need to note is Hachan on the Nami and Shinobu. Nami and Shinobu are just great because they're free to play and they can give you extra points. And then Corazone's an amazing support for Law to remove the bind, the paralysis if you do take a couple extra turns as well. You do want to try and find a spot for someone like Mihawk or bring a Warlord to trigger Law's super type, as we do have type advantage on the final stage. This Mihawk just works exceptionally as he's a great attack booster. The downside to this team was it struggled to stall. That was the big downside to it, but it still managed to do it. I scuffed the entire run and it still actually clapped it really, really easily. So like I said, the only thing I would note, I would slap the Otama on here somewhere, just so you can get a few more points. And with this team, you could easily bring a friend BigMom as well. That way you can just get more point gain as well. The next team is the good old Roden team. Roden just still clapping content very, very easily. What I would do with this particular team, if you have the Otama, I would put the Otama on this particular team. This Jewelry Bonnie is actually really, really strong. She's actually really good for the final stage because she gives you a full body recovery orbs and she can reduce defense up and threshold. So she works exceptionally well. But if you do take her off for Otama, you will need to find defense up removal somewhere. But I just wanted to show off that Roden's still incredibly strong. Besides Roden, we have free-to-play subs and no supports. The Liberal Hind's great to give you the cooldown for Law if you do get the Queen stage, because then Law can remove the special blind. It works very, very well. The next team is my boy Shanks Crew. We are bringing our homie Shanks Crew to take down Kaido. So double Shanks Crew, but you could easily run a BigMom friend, as I mentioned, as this team will get fully boosted. The Hachan support isn't overly necessary on Nami and Shinobu, as we do have Luffy Sanji to give us a full board of orbs. Now, if you are missing Luffy Sanji, you could just slap on the free-to-play Bonnie on this team and then replace Usohachi with another attack booster. That should work absolutely fine. As we are using the Oro Jackson, I would try and find a free spirit or a slasher. That way you can just get the matching orbs, as Oro Jackson is going to make recovery orbs matching, very similar to the Zunisha on this particular team. Zunisha can make the recovery orbs matching for our Cerebrals and our powerhouse units, which this whole team is besides the Kuzan, but the Kuzan's here just because that Kuzan's amazing. Some other things to note on this particular team. Shanks Crew obviously being our captain, very, very strong. Great switch ability, 3.5 times chain lock. There are no normal attacks only, so you can take advantage of his blow away damage. He's like Haki, Conqueror's Haki. Nami and Shinobi, once again, we've been through them. Usohachi's great to remove the defense up in the threshold. Luffy Sanji's an attack booster. Viola's got the carryover orb effect as well as removing special blind, so she's very, very good if you do come up against Queen. Unfortunately, if you do come up against Queen, though, you do need to stall a turn. And if you come up against King, King's the easiest, to be honest, because King just gives you burn and you can just screw you, King, like get out of my face. So I think that was all of the teams. Yeah, so they're the 5 teams that I used. Obviously, if you do have these particular units, I would try and build a team that is built around points. The content isn't very hard. It's only a 40 stamina event. So that's enough about teams. Let's hop into the run and let's get this brawl battle against Kaido done. So for the first team, we are using Kaido versus Kaido. Now, for all of you people at the summon that did get a little bit unlucky, that didn't pick up BigMom versus Kaido, don't worry, your boy Stomp's got your back, because there are no normal attacks only on this content, which means that you guys can actually run the one Kaido with a friend BigMom versus Kaido. Now, unfortunately, it's very, very hard to stall with Kaido as your captain, obviously. So stalling in the early stages to build up the verse meter can be a little bit tricky. So once we get to this stage against Jack, we do actually want to try and get as much verse meter as we possibly can. On stage 4, you either come up against Queen or Jack. Depending on which one you come up against, they do different things. Jack special blinds you as well as bind your captains, where Queen actually will give you attack down as well as give you a special reverse. So once we've basically just removed all those effects, you can actually replace, after running this like now, I've just realized you can easily replace Haughty with any other character on this particular team, as you do pretty much have to stall out the effects of Jack no matter what. Otherwise, you're just not going to have that verse meter ready in time, and you do really want that verse meter ready by the final stage, as we are going to basically get a full board of unfavorable orbs every time you kill either Jack or Queen, and getting your damage on the final stage can be a little bit tricky as you can't use an orb booster. But with our friend Kaido, we can get the carryover effect and get an orb boost for the next stage. Sober Mask is literally just on this team because we don't have any other way of getting orbs, and obviously T&D orbs are matching with our boy Kaido, so we can actually use his special to give us a full board of matching orbs, as he gives us a full board of T&D orbs. Kaido puts up 5 turns of defense up and threshold, so we can use the double special activation of Dofi as well as the Bellamy support to completely remove all of that. Now, the reason I've got X-Drake on this particular team is because if you become on the Queen stage, he can roll your specials forward and stuff like that. So we literally are just going to use his special just so we can roll our Kaido special forward, and then we can get the Sovereign special once again to turn our attack boost into a 2.5 times attack boost. Then we've just got HP cutters here. We can just go HP cut. We can just go HP cut. And then we can use his versatility, and that is just straight up GG for our boy Kaido. Like, no clap. Don't even come at me. Goodbye. See you later. So that was Kaido vs Kaido. Worked very, very well. No issues, really. Just basically that stalling at the beginning. So for the next time, we're using the homie V4 Law, Halloween Law. I love using this legend so goddamn much. He's so much fun to use. And on this particular run, we did actually come up against Queen. Now, Queen does give us attack down and special reverse, which is very actually annoying because Law, it's very hard to stall with Law. Very similar to Kaido from the previous team. It's actually very, very tricky to stall. But once we get to Queen here, we can just let Queen attack us and then just let the end of turn damage of our boy Law do the rest. If you do too much damage to Queen, Queen is going to give you 3 turns of paralysis. But we do have Corazon in our Law, mainly for the bind on the if we get Jack. But it also works really well at removing the Despair on this Queen stage. So unfortunately for us, we are still missing a special. So it is what it is. We're actually missing 2 specials, which is a little bit annoying. But Kaido does have defense up. He does have threshold, so we can just sort of pass turns here. As like I said, Law just makes it really tricky to stall. But because we have a Mihawk on the team, we actually can get the healing mechanic from Law super typing. So once we pass the first turn, we can use the super typing to get a little bit of heal. Because we're not doing any damage to Kaido, like he's just putting pot shots in that really doesn't matter too much. Alright, so once we've got our specials now, what we can actually do here is we can use our Kuzan special. This Kuzan is replaceable with the Bellamy and the Dofi, so like the Dofi with the Bellamy support that you saw in the previous team. Then we can use our Onami and Shinobu special. They are going to rotate our orbs randomly, including recovery and T&D orbs. And then because I have the Hachan support, we can actually get almost like a full board of recovery orbs for our cerebral characters. Now, I totally forgot you can't use orb boosts. That's an issue. Massive issue. But, you know what? I'm actually just going to let Law do the work here. Just for the lulz. For the meme. 3 million damage. Alright, he's got a special blindness. That's absolutely fine because we've got Garb support. Can remove one of those turns. He's got attack up. That's fine. He's going to do more damage. Let's just watch Law go burr right here. Law goes burr. No, Law didn't go burr. Oh no, Law's going to go burr. Well, as scuffed as that was, that actually worked incredibly well. I mean, like with Law, right, like he's just built up around that end of turn damage, and if there are no normal attacks only, like you can just clap, like catch a later, Kaido. Easy peasy. So that was V4 Law. Honestly, I'm not rerunning with that team. I'm just going to leave this scuffed video in because V4 Law, this is what he does. He's just a monster when there are no normal attacks only. And for the next team, it's the one and only Roden. So apparently I was wrong. You can actually come up against King. Sick. That's always nice. So stage 4, you can come up against King, Queen, or Jack, which is honestly really annoying. But King gives you 4 turns of burn and he just does a HP cut. So honestly, like that is actually really easy to get around. So for this particular team, we're basically just using the regular Roden strat. We're going to be using the super typing on stage 4. We're using the special of Oden on stage 4. And then we're finishing it off with our Roger special on stage 4. And because we don't need, okay, we're not at that threshold. I was gonna say, because we don't need that, we could just use that, but you know, look, it is what it is. Even with the burn, it's not gonna be an issue for Roden, as you can see. Even with full free-to-play subs and no supports, like, this team just, Roger and Oden, they're gonna be so viable for so goddamn long, and if you guys have them, be very, very happy, because there's not gonna be a lot of content that you guys won't be able to beat, to be honest, moving forward. So on the final stage against Kaido, though, he still does that regular stuff. He's going to put up his threshold and defense up. We're just going to use Roger, get ourselves a nice juicy attack boost, as well as extend the orb buff. Then we can use our girl Bonnie to remove the defensive effects. Then we can get the color affinity boost for Nami and Shinobu. And honestly, even with the burn, like this is just going to be an absolute whitewash. Just get out of my game, Kaido. See you later. So there you go. That was Roden just still absolutely clapping for days, even through the burn. So with it, you can get King as well. That's so frustrating. So on to the next team now. We are using my boy Shanks Crew. You guys know whenever there's new content, I'm going to be out here clearing it with my boy Shanks Crew. So Shanks Crew's great because he removes the special blind on this Jack stage. So we don't have to worry about that. But we do have the rest of the bases covered with the special blind through Viola. And that way we can actually get a carryover orb boost. So what we're going to do on this particular stage, we can use our Nami and Shinobu special to remove the blind, which is very, very handy, and get a little bit of color affinity. Rainbow color affinity is always nice. We do have the Hatchan support on our Nami, though, which is a little bit annoying, as we're not going to be able to keep those recovery orbs moving into the final stage. That actually might be a... Actually, no, it's not going to be an issue. What we can do now is we can use our Viola special. That way we can get a orb boost, and we can carry over the orb boost into the final stage with the perfect time hit barriers. And then we can switch with our Shanks Crew, so we get an attack boost and a higher captain multiplier. And finally, we can switch into our Sanji, and that way we can just get an extra color affinity unit, and we can just easily take out Jack. The fact that we don't even have to use a Shanks Crew special here is actually really, really good, as that way we can actually get 2 HP cuts moving into the final stage. Unfortunately, when you kill Jack, King, or Queen, whichever one you get, you're going to get a full board of unfavorable orbs, which is very, very annoying, as you can't use an orb boost on the final stage against Kaido as well. So you do lose out a lot when just by doing that. So on the final stage against Kaido here, we can use our Uso Hachi special to remove the defensive effects. Then we can use our Shanks Crew specials to get a 30% HP cut. 20% HP cut. 20% HP cut. We can get it twice, which is just absolutely phenomenal. And then we can finish it off with Luffy and Sanji special. Because we're using the Aura Jackson, we get a full board of recovery orbs. We have well over our max HP, and we have a 2.5 times attack boost. And like, honestly, like, this is just going to be disgustingly OP. Like, see ya later. Catch you later. So Shanks Crew is still getting it done very, very well, very, very easily. So with that, let's move on to the final team. So for the final team of the video, we are using the big Quaylen team of the video. This team is just a 4-point booster. Unfortunately for me, I am still missing King. So unfortunately, I'm just using Queen, Jack, and the 2 free-to-play units. If you can find a spot for King, he is going to be very, very handy, especially if you get the special reverse stage or this particular stage where you get the special blind. But with this particular team, I am using BigMom and the support of Sweet Commanders. That way we can drop the special blind down to 2 turns and then just stall out the blind and the special blind before we move on to the final stage against Kaido. So once we've removed the special blind and the... Once we've removed the special blind and the blind just through natural stalling, we can use our Big Mom special. That way we can get a attack boost, and then we can do our 3 perfects, and we can carry the orb buff into the next stage. You can use the Jack special there if you need more damage, but for me, I just need to make sure I hit the 3 perfects. Once you do... kill everyone on this particular... once you kill Jack, he's going to give you a full board of unfavorable orbs. Now, you can actually use the Onami Shinobu special there to get the... you can rotate your orbs into recovery, or the chance to rotate them into recovery, and then turn them into Semla slots. But with not having King on the team, it makes it very, very tricky for me particularly. So once we hit the Kaido stage, here's the 5 turns of defense up and threshold. We get the carryover orb buffs from Big One, which is really, really nice. And then we can use the Nami Shinobi special on this particular turn to hopefully pick up some recovery orbs. But like, we just got absolutely shafted. But lucky for me, I have the Hatchan support, so that way we can actually get guaranteed recovery orbs. That Hatchan support is very, very good, especially for this particular piece of content. as we basically need to get ourselves some recovery orbs. I didn't realize you gave recovery orbs too. Okay, well, Otama just basically gives us a full board of recovery orbs, so you don't even need that Hachan support, and you can definitely use the Nami Shinobi special. Honestly, you can just replace Nami Shinobi with King if you have King, but unfortunately for your boy Stump, I'm still struggling to get that guy. But as you can see, like, just two big bombs just absolutely claps Kaido. So BigMom versus Kaido, and in this instance, BigMom comes out the victor. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me. And if you're new to the channel, consider hitting that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Lights!